on YouTube. We're back with a late stream. It's been a while since I've done one of these late streams, and to be fair with you, I felt kind of like just doing a little stream, and I wasn't really sure what to do, and I decided that I was gonna kind of just do a little sort of like reminisce kind of stream, sort of kind of looking back where I've come over the years, because some of you may or may not know that this year I will be 7 years in the game. So it will be 7 years ago since I put my first sort of MC video up, which that'll be coming up later this year, like the birthday anniversary, if you like. So it'll be like 7 years of Noble, which is crazy to think. It is actually crazy to think that 7 years of Noble will actually be occurring, taking place. So I was just putting some flyers on my wall because I've just printed some out today. Some sort of recent ones for like things I've got coming up, and there's a couple of there is some flyers, believe it or not, that I need to print off that are from last year that I never even printed off, which is just due to me. I just forgot, got other things on the brain. There's a couple of flyers. Sadly, I won't ever be able to, well, I would be able to print them off, but it'll be a lot harder because there was a couple of flyers that only ever got made in like cover photo portrait. So some of the so like the way I print my flyers off is I just go to a Max Spielman and use the 49p photo instant prints from your phone, and they're not the best. Sometimes you can't print the whole flyer off, but it's only, to be honest with you, it's only like sometimes it only cuts off like something as little as like the name of the venue or the date, and just to put it up on your wall, and when you stood there at the decks and you can just look back and you can think, wow, I DJ'd that night, or you can there and think, wow, I'm gonna DJ there in a couple of weeks. I printed one off today, and it like literally captures like the headliners, the whole lineup, but it just literally, and the date, but it just literally misses out the name of the venue. But it's not like I'm gonna hand loads of these flyers out. It's just, I just print my own personalized one, which is just for my bedroom wall purpose only. Sadly, this one, you can see here, this is an old Alliance one. Sadly, this one is going to have to just come down. It needs a little bit of repair to it, to be honest with you. It's got very creased. It might even, to be fair, it might even just could do with maybe putting that iron over it, but it's very creased. It doesn't stay up properly, even if it's like well sellotaped, because the creases is just getting the better of the poster itself, and it's causing it to fall down. So I've decided it's quite an old booking. It wasn't like, it was a good booking for me because it was the first time I ever got booked with Alliance, but it's not, like the thing about it is, when you're a musician, or when you start going and doing what I'm doing, where I do quite a few bookings, and once I've been doing them for years, it's gonna be, there is gonna be like some posters that, no offences to the events and no offences to the people that put them on, but there's gonna be some flyers where it'll just come to the point where you won't have room for it. And if it wasn't a massive night, if it was just something small and local, the chances are, not that there's anything wrong with the local nights, it will end up just getting taken down, because you want to keep going, you want to keep being relevant, and you want to have your new flyers up there, with the new things you're doing. And sometimes, the more new things come in, the older stuff, they'll just get pushed further back, and then eventually they will have to the wall. So anyway, I was putting these new flyers up, and I was just having a look at some of the old ones, having a little bit of a reminisce, and I just thought, why not do like a stream that we just sort of reminisce back? Because, like I say, this year I'll have been in the game 7 years officially. Now, like back in 2013, early 2015, I did want to be a DJ. I did have equipment, and I did attempt to be a DJ, but it only lasted a matter of months, and I gave it up through bullying because I was a different person back then. Now someone will call me a prick online, and I'll just laugh it off. But back then, I got very hurt and upset, and what was upsetting and hurtful was the fact that it was friends that were claiming to support me. And I was getting, but they were asking me to come and DJ their house parties, and I thought they were just being genuine friends, and they actually wanted to see me do well, and they thought you can come and DJ our house party, and I was excited at the time, and then they just turned out to just throw me in the shit, and then they just tend to like one of them wasn't even gonna let me know, and just didn't want me, got somebody else, wasn't even gonna let me know, and I literally just I'd got everything all prepared. I was buzzed all week, and they didn't even let me know. So I don't, as in some sense, I don't tend to really class that as like my music career, because that wasn't really for me back then. It was just me. Like, I don't want to say clowning around, because I wasn't clowning around. Like, I did, I did want to get into the DJing, but back then I wasn't taking it like as seriously as I say I am now. And it was, in some sense, it was just a bit of fun back then. Although it is fun now, back then it was, I was just playing around in my shed like, wow, look at me, I'm a DJ, and I really wasn't. I was still learning to beat match, and I was definitely like, not doing too well on the DJing side of things, because I was learning, but I don't really class that. So when I say like I've been in the game 7 years, I go from 2015, which is when I started MC, and that's when I put the first MC video up, and I always go from there on, because I think, well, even though maybe when I put that video up back then I wasn't aiming to take it seriously, it was just a bit of a laugh, it still turned out to become something that I do now take seriously. So it's a very weird thing for me. So for those of you who don't know the story of why I'm even sat here today, it's a little bit of a crazy story. So essentially, before I started MCing, I was going to Hull College, and I was training to be a motorcycle mechanic, and it wasn't really going too well for me. I just wasn't really enjoying it. Not it wasn't for me. It was just something that wasn't for me. My dad and granddad, they've always been big fans of motorbikes, and I do have a love and a passion for bikes, but I just don't love bikes like they love bikes, and they love motorbike racing, and they watch it on the telly, and it's like their passion with bikes is like my passion with music, basically. And they sort of my dad, he sort of wanted me to do something with bikes. He thought when he had a kid, be someone who would be like right into his bikes, and would love racing, and would maybe get into like motocrossing as a kid, and I just wasn't really that into it. Although I loved taking my little blue quad bike up the green lane, I was never destined to be the next Guy Martin, and he was never really keen on that. And sort of around the late 2013, 2014 time, when I'd also into the DJ, and I'd just got like a moped and things on the road, and I was coming out of school, and we was a little bit like, what am I going to do? And I thought, what do I really want to do? And I thought, do you know what, maybe I'll give mechanicking a go. I thought, it might just be something I might find myself like getting interested in. So I applied for a car mechanic course at college, and sadly I didn't get accepted onto the course. So then I thought, well, why don't I maybe have a go at like maybe fixing motorbikes instead? So I went to Hull College and did this motorcycle course. It didn't really work out, and I think one of the reasons why I didn't really enjoy it was because, you know, I suppose with anything in college nowadays, there's like always a lot of like computer work and like classroom work. So like my idea of like learning how to do something is like to be in a workshop and do it. And I was just, you know, and a lot of it, you was kind of sat in a classroom and it was like PowerPoints and slideshow presentations. And I'm more of a person, like, if someone says they're going to show you how to, I don't know, say change the wheel on a bike, like, you know, you stand next to them and you watch them physically change the wheel on a bike, you know, and they tell you, like, you undo these bolts here. Whereas if they talk about, you know, if they sit in a classroom and talk about the dimensions of a wheel and different wheels and what different wheels do, that just seems to go over my head. But if someone physically stands in a workshop and shows me how to change a wheel, you know, that's where I get more interested. But with the college side of things, there was a lot of computer work, and you know, it was drawing diagrams and right, we're going to design our own bike. And I just think, well, what has this literally got to do with learning to fix a bike? Like getting us to draw a picture of a bike in a classroom. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to be in the workshop, and then when I was in the workshop, I was struggling with a few things, and I wasn't as confident as I am now, so I was a bit unconfident and asking for help. And I did pass the course, but then there was like some mix-up with, because basically I'd failed maths and English at school, so I resat them and redid them in college. And my maths, I did all right with my maths. I got through that. But my English, I'd gone to basically, well, what had happened is we was due to go for an exam, and I was supposed to get a letter in the post, and I didn't get a letter in the post, and I actually missed the exam day because I didn't know when it was. So they tried bollocking me for missing this exam, blah blah blah, and said, look, you know, you can't go on the level 2 if you don't take this exam. So I'm saying, look, you know, no letter came in the post, blah blah blah. So anyway, they rescheduled me a date to do it on my own, and it was just after we broke off from college to go into the summer. Essentially, I just had to come in and sit this one exam, and then I was going to get my results through the post. I never got my results in the post, and still to this day, I'm actually waiting for them results to come through the post. And you know, I've obviously moved address since then, so obviously without the address, I just couldn't I go on to the level 2 apparently. So I waited and waited most of the summer, and then I thought, well, do you know what? I'll just try ringing the college up, apply for the level 2, and just tell them I'm waiting for the results to come in the post. So I rang up about the level 2, and sadly there was no spaces left on the course. Well, I say sadly, wasn't really sadly for me. I was kind of relieved, as I didn't really want to go back, but I think it was more my dad. So anyway, cut the story short. At the time, I was playing on the PlayStation. I was heavy into my gaming. I was like right deep into my Minecraft, and I was YouTubing my Minecraft worlds and my Minecraft series. Was what I was big into at the time, and I was playing online with a guy called Kyle Johnson from I think he was from Sunderland, if I remember right. And I come in from college once, got home and booted up and come online and was doing this recording. So you know, we added him to a chat party as you do, and yeah, you know, how's your day been? And he's playing MC Pat Flynn on his, you know, just through a speaker. Just got a bit of music on in his room, and he just comes out with it out of the blue that I should have a go at doing something like this. You know, why don't I have a go at doing an MC? You know, I reckon you could do an MC, he said. And at the time, I wasn't really, like, I knew what MCs were, but I wasn't, like, too big on them. Like, I used to love the Blackout Crew back in the day. But I never thought of it in my brain as, like, something that I could do. So at the time I was a bit like, yeah, you're barking mad. But anyway, a couple of days after, I decided to listen to this guy, what my friend had been listening to. Just out of curiosity, because I thought, you know what, it does actually sound quite good what he was listening to. And when I searched it up, there was like videos with lyrics on the screen. So I thought, this is all right. So I started learning the song and started getting into the song. And then I thought, just as for a joke, I will record myself singing to one of this guy's songs. So just going over and doing his lyrics, blah blah blah. So I decided to do that. Put it on Facebook on my old DJ page that I used to get bullied on, because I thought for a bit of a laugh, and I thought, do you know what, I'll do it on this page. It'll be a little bit of a laugh, um, and I just thought let's do it. So I put it up, and it actually gained a few likes, few laughs, blah blah blah. But I thought, do you know what, it's a bit of fun. And then not long after that, I thought, well, why don't I just open up like a Word document, see if I can write a rhyme myself. So I put this little rhyme together, found a beat, after like listening and watching some other MCs, and just had a go myself. And without sort of going over the full details of the story, like the rest is history. So it was kind of him like telling me that I should do this MC that sort of led to me looking into other MCs and then having a go myself, that kind of got me, I suppose, to where I am, to where I'm sat right now. DJ, MC, producer, radio presenter. So it's kind of gone a little bit wild, but it kind of all is thanks to him. And although me and this guy, we don't even talk anymore, like we never fell out, it's just, I don't have a PlayStation anymore. I think he just stopped going on his, or like things change in life. Back then we was like, we was teenagers back then. Like I'd only just not long since left school. I was in college. He was just in like the sort of like final few years of school, and then obviously when things change, you get old enough to go out for a pint and stuff in the pub. You get old enough to start going clubbing or doing other things. Some people, again, they pass the driving tests and they start driving, and before you know it, your life changed, and you're not that same guy that used to sit on the console all the time. So, but I always, I'm a big believer, like, always remember like where you came from. And I always do believe that, just him sort of suggesting that day that, that I should give it a go, do an MC, give it a go. That back then he must have had some sort of faith in me to think that maybe I could do this, or maybe I wouldn't sound too bad if I gave it a go. Or even if he just thought it'd be a bit of a laugh to hear me do one. At the end of the day, he still somewhat put the thought and the idea in my head that has led to me sort of, to sit in this chair right now, and do this stream. So, I do like to thank the people from where I've come from, because, it's who I am. And there's other people to thank along the road as well, and they always will get thank yous as well. So that's sort of like where it began, which is crazy. So it started off as just a bit of fun. I was doing them for a bit of fun. There was getting a bit of laughs and reactions online. A lot of people were, again, that was just laughing and taking the piss, as you do, oh, do a rap for us. I mean, I guess they think like, oh, the DJ that never took it anywhere, oh, he's trying to rap now, do you know what I mean? So I can see where people would have come from. But then with the MCing and the rapping, it was almost just like the more I was doing it, the more I was like starting to enjoy it. And then it was kind of like I was getting into this, and then like my likes and my views, they were starting to grow on social media. My Facebook page was doing well. Next thing I knew, I had like 500 likes, and then it was 600 likes, and then Facebook brought out the option to go live, and then Facebook Live came a thing, and then I started going live and spitting bars, and the viewers were watching me live as I was doing it. And then I got my sort of first little break, which was when I got offered to do a gig at the Driffield Rugby Club. I was actually paid for it, It was quite a fun thing to do. They had me down in between a band and a singer, just a little local guy, and some of the rugby lads, I'd known them from school, and there was buzz to see this guy, sort of come such a long way, and then step up in the rugby club and do a little bit of performing, etc. It was a very nerve wracking thing. Then off the back of that, there was a guy who liked what I did, and I'll come down to my house and record some stuff. I've got some studio equipment. Started doing a few studio EPs, and it just kept growing from there. And suddenly by this point, I was like, I want to definitely, keep up and, keep going and, keep grinding the music, etc. Which was like a crazy thing. Then 2019 came along, and I thought, sort of started heading in the direction of going into the rave scene, and I was getting plastered on pages like Sound of the Northeast and these grime pages, and I was getting these like thousands of views, and I was writing these like funny but dirty lyrics where about the neighbour's arse and sleeping with the next door neighbour. And then there was one that was kind of it was sort of a funny song, but it was about a guy who had this dream to be a musician, but he was on the dole, and the job centre was kind of him to say, look, music ain't gonna work. There's nothing for people in music, and you need to get a normal job. And he was trying to say, look, I can make my dream come true. And it was just kind of like this sort of like big rhyme to, in some sense, it was to say, fuck you, job centre. And it was I was kind of sort of speaking from the heart a little bit, because I feel like all my life I've done, I've done a range of a few different jobs, from working in my dad's business to birdseed on night shifts, and I've worked at the tip yard. I've worked in I've worked in a country shop. I've delivered for takeaways. I've worked in a takeaway. And I just feel like, when I do something musically wise, it just seems to work. It goes right, goes in my favour. I get love off of it, off people. I get love off of doing it. I feel good about doing it. I feel excited when I do it. I wake up each morning and I want to do it. I don't wake up and think, oh, for fuck, I've got to do a mix today. I get up and I'm like, do you know what? I want to do this mix today. And that's how I want to be at a job. I want to wake up and think I'm excited about going into work. And I do believe that, if you push a dream, you can get somewhere. So that's kind of what the song was based upon, about this guy who had like a bigger dream than just doing a normal job. And he wanted to prove to the job centre that it can come true. So he wrote this rhyme, which was kind of a little bit funny and dirty, just sort of dissing the job centre. But the actual message behind it was, I've got this dream here, and I want to prove to the job centre that I can do it, and that I can turn this little hobby into reality, and start earning off of this hobby, and becoming quite good with it. So obviously that happened. I was getting plastered on the pages. Then I started it in the rave scene, and a couple of people running events were like, come down to our night, and I'll let you have a little go on the mic. Dave Fallows from Stomping was the first one to do so, but sadly I was at a birthday party that first night, and then I didn't end up making it to the Stomping because I had a little bit too much to drink. But the offer was still there for the next month. Come down to the next one, have a go on the mic, which I did. So I had a little go on the mic. So he sort of gave me that first opportunity to really jump in a nightclub in front of a different crowd. There was quite a bit of a crowd there. It was a new brand that was just nicely starting to grow. It was enjoyable, just to get up there on the stage behind the decks and sorry, on the mic, sorry, and just have that little bit of a go. I didn't go on for long, but it was just that I was very nerve wracking, but it was that break, it was that chance to go on. So I did a few of them where I'd just turn up to the event and look, jump on and have a little go on the mic, blah blah blah. Then actually in May of 2019, I got my first official flyered booking. with stomping. And I do remember the day very well. I was just sat upstairs chilling. The stomping had just finished like not long since. Like we had the April stomping like not long ago, and there was something that was just like at the time. It was almost like I was sort of in a way I was expecting to go on the flyer, but I kind of wasn't, because I remember at the one before, an Easter one, and there was a lot of there was a lot of like people that wanted to go, wanted to jump on the mic, etc. And you know, they always was letting me have a little go. I was up and coming, but there was just something about that event. They wanted me to go on the mic even more, and it's like they was almost like taking more notice of me on the mic, and they was listening to my style and my flow. So it was almost like they was kind of thinking like, let's get this guy on a flyer, or on a future one, blah blah blah. So I was kind of thinking like, I wonder if I will get fly. I was thinking, I wonder if I'll get booked by him. You know, just out of curiosity. And then I remember the day I was just chilling upstairs, get a message from Dave, promote stomping. You there? Blah blah blah. And then he just sends me a picture of the stomping flyer. There's my name and introducing MC Noble. He's like, I'll put you on the flyer for this one. Are you all right with that? Is that cool? Are you're free this day? Blah blah blah. And I remember, I think I even made like a spelling error when I replied to him, like where he couldn't understand the message, because I was just so excited. I mean, think about it, a guy who's been grafting for sort of 3-4 years in his bedroom, and then he gets it, he just gets sent a flyer and he's on it and he's emceeing in a club, in front of these people that he's, for the past sort of 3 to 4 months he's been going to see in nightclubs. He's been following them online and they've been mixing some of his favourite tunes, and and then to think, boom, you're actually flyered, and you're next to some people that have DJed round Hull for years. So it was a very exciting feeling. So I did that, and then a little later on got my bookings with Alliance. They were very fun, so I started ready to hit Scarborough, and it felt like that everything was just going on the uphill for me. Everything was just absolutely blazing and amazing. 2020 came, and 2020 started off wicked. Again, had a few bookings in the pipeline. I got booked with Stomping again. This one was quite a big one. There was some pretty big headliners involved, and it was quite a biggie for me. I was looking forward to it. Then I got booked for a little drum and bass night. I was due to go down to Birmingham. I'd also just got a pair of DJ decks at Christmas, so I was just having a little mix at home. And originally, that I wasn't planning to take that anywhere massive. That was just me again at the time, just so I could do some like radio broadcasts and some live streams at home. It was never really meant to intentionally become like a thing where I'd start gigging from it. And then obviously, sadly, we got hit with the coronavirus and the lockdowns, and then it's like I felt like I lost all my motivation and my passion for the mic, and I just thought, well, there's no one to really MC to. I mean, I can write some fresh bars, but we wasn't really sure when we was going to come out with this lockdown. And that's when I started turning my attention back to the decks, and I thought, well, do you know what? Like, this is going to give me a really good chance to learn the decks and start mixing properly, and this is going to give me a really good opportunity just to really give this a good grind, a really, really good grind. Absolutely belting. So I was learning the decks. I was learning to mix all the time, and then obviously that just sort of started taking over. I got a buzz for that, and I just kind of thought, well, do you know what? I kind of want to sort of DJ now, and I do want to MC, but I kind of don't at the same time. And it felt really for me, because when I was like right in 2019, I was like, I'm never going to stop emceeing. I'm hooked on this for life. And then, going through the lockdowns, it's like I lost a bit of interest for it. But now it's like it's coming back, which is a good thing. And I've got a few MC bookings this year, which I'm buzzed about. Already done a couple, and I'm buzzed about doing them. Like, they're a really good thing to do. And I'm glad that I'm back enjoying them again. But at the time, back then, it was almost like I didn't really want to do it too much anymore, because I just sort of lost the motivation for it. But then it just sort of slowly came back. And then obviously lockdowns sort of, they were coming and going. So, we was getting a bit of freedom back, and then, oh boom, when, we're tightening the rules again. 2020, I obviously moved. I did the big move from Driffield to Hull. So that was a really big change in my life. It was a massive change. A big reason was for the music wise as well. It was a big reason for the move. I was starting to do well in Hull. I was making a lot of new friends, and I was just genuinely, I was enjoying myself a hell of a lot more. It felt like at home when I was living in Drift, like I was very bored and isolated. So I was sat in the shed like all day of the week. All it would be like get up, have breakfast, have dinner, go out into the shed, come in, have tea, go back out to the shed. And it just got to the point where, as much as I loved my decks and I loved my music, like I was just in there and in there and in there, like all the time, and it was getting boring. And especially through lockdown, where you couldn't go anywhere. And because before lockdown I'd like been coming to Hull, and I'd been like making all these new friends and all these new connections, it was like it was making me realise like how much I'm actually missing them. So like I just couldn't wait to start getting back to Hull. And no one was really being that supportive of me. Like where I was living in Drift, it was getting to the point where, like no one would ever like ask me if I was, what I was up to, or if I fancied coming round, or fancy going to the pub for a few. Whereas now, and I'm living in Hull, like I'm always like, I'm not short of like popping round to see a friend, or I do a lot of things with the layman, so I'm always out and about. So I'm not at home all the time, and that's what I like. I like the fact that. I've got all my music gear and I've got my computer at home, but I like the fact that, I'll maybe have a busy day, or I'll be away for a few days, and then it's that excitement of coming back to the decks and, oh, I've not been on them for a few days, rather than being sat at home like 24/7 and think, well, I've been on the decks, like what else can I do? And I know in myself, like if I, for whatever reason, if I don't know, friends have been poorly or anything, and I've just, I've not had any appointments on, and I've been sat at home for like a couple of days, like I do get bored of like, I do like going out, like I just enjoy getting out in the air. I just, I like cruising about and being with friends. It's, I'm just that type of person. So, like coming to Hull from Driffield, it was a massive step. It was an amazing thing to start, coming somewhere where you would actually have friends that would say, like, do you want to come round for a coffee? Or, we're having a little get together this weekend, you're welcome to come. Or, I'm travelling down to this rave, do you want to come for the ride with me? Whereas like Driffield, it was, I was finding out what people were doing all the time, and, are you at the pub? And, oh, I might be at the pub, and, or sometimes they'd all be in there, and not one of them had like text, oh, shall we see if Noble's coming? I'd have to ask if they was there. It was getting to the point where I was, I was a bit bored of that, and I just thought, well, it works both ways. Or I was asking them, especially 2019, got a few bookings playing in Scarborough. Oh yeah, I'll come support you at that. Yeah, we'll rent a little flat room out for the weekend. We'll make a weekend of it. Let me down. Oh yeah, I'm playing at Stomp at you. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, I'll come to that one. Yeah, I'll come support you. And then they don't come, and they're not even gonna let you know that they can't come. Um, So, you know, the move just was a drastic move for me, but it was definitely well worth it. It was well needed. Definitely, you know, would never look back. And to be honest, like, you know, I've got love from my grandparents. I just went and stayed over a night there last night. And as much as I enjoy going there and staying over there, like, you know, I'd never want to move back. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, especially now with like radio and things and all these appointments as well, like it just wouldn't make sense going back. But like, I've come on so well musically wise as well that it would just be like taking a step back in the wrong direction. You know, and if anything, I'd be isolating myself again. You know, because a lot of the things I do now, like because I'd be that like further drive away. We wouldn't do them. So like, you know, like production days, like when me and Lee say record tunes, like we would hardly ever do that. Not that we do it much anyway, because we get busy with other things. But like, you know, if we're just gonna do a couple of vocals for a few hours, it's a long drive. Like just to come and do that. So like for him to come all the way to Drift just to do that, you know, like it won't really work out in favour. And then like, you know, we won't be linking every day or most days like we do, because again, you know, the drive, etc. So, you know, I won't be doing all these music things. I won't be going to all these like regular events like I do, because you know I'd be watching my money, because you know I'd be not only like travelling to the event, but I'd be coming on the train from Driffield. So, you know, the move was just, you know, the move was just a big thing in general. So that happened. Music things just boosted up for me. Started working with the layman a lot. Started doing live streams. We started blowing up, and obviously lockdown fully ended. And then before you know it, I was taking DJ bookings, and it just kind of went wild. And I sit here now, and I don't really know how to explain it. But it's true. Like, you know, but what a reminiscing, you know, just to start back, like from being told by a guy that you don't even know, you just play with him on PlayStation, and he says, why don't you do an MC? And that just tips off everything. You know, like where I've got to, where I've come now, like, you know, everything. You know, what he said, like, you know, as much as Dave Fallows got me the booking at Stomping, he kind of did. Because if he hadn't have said to me that day, why don't you try giving MCing a go, I probably wouldn't have given it a go. Like, you know, like I wouldn't have searched this guy and then started reading his lyrics. Or if I did, I wouldn't have decided to MC myself. Do you know what I mean? Crazy. And the mad thing about it is as well is my PS3 account, PS4 account, actually got banned. Um, PS3 one got banned, so I made a new one, and because at the time I was heavily addicted to Minecraft, I actually made my PSN account MC underscore noble underscore 123 before I even started MCing, because it was Minecraft Noble 123. You know, it was the initials for Minecraft MC. Obviously, rhyming MCing was what I started doing. What did I name myself? MC Noble. But at the time when I made the PlayStation name for Minecraft Noble, like that wasn't on my mind. Like I wasn't even planning to be an MC back then. Even back then, I didn't even know the Kyle guy who even told me about, you know, saying you should give the MCing a go. Like I was still on the PS3 when I made this account. You know, didn't even own a PS4. So this was like years before. I think I was even still a DJ. You know, the old DJ at this point. Which DJ Raver, DJ Madhead, and then I changed it to DJ Raver. DJ Madhead if I was ever going to bring that guy back, which I have thought about it. I thought, do I come back with that DJ Madhead name? I'd probably get him do like it'd probably be a guy who mixes like raw style and up tempo, like because I always think of like Madhead is like you're fucking Madhead, like a proper, really like heavy hard guy, likes his hard music, as opposed to like when I originally called myself DJ Madhead, I was kind of doing like EDM mixes, like Martin Garrix and some of the new Tiesto tunes and I forget who they are. I remixed their song, called it Critical, but the song's called Tremor. Is it Demetra or something like that? Anyway, all them EDM tunes, I was mixing them at the time. So like, nothing even to do with hard music. And then, obviously, I changed to DJ Raver because someone said, why don't you change that name up? And then I thought, why don't we go for like a DJ name change? So I thought, what about DJ Raver? And then, I just cringy names now when you think back. But, like, I do just like now that I'm just Ash Noble. But yeah, it's just crazy that what that Kyle guy said was kind of like what tipped everything off. Because, like I wouldn't have started MCing and I wouldn't have got back into the DJing. And I certainly wouldn't have started producing. So that's, again, another crazy thing. And I probably wouldn't have started radio broadcasting, as much as that's something I have always wanted to do. Like, I would have probably never thought that I'd be any good to do it. Like, I always considered that as like a dream job. Like, oh, you get on the radio. Like, I always considered that as like it's not, you don't just a normal job where you go in with your CV, like applying to work at Tesco's kind of thing. I always thought you had to be somebody like sort of big and special to be on the radio. Never thought that one day I'd do it. But believe it or not, it's happening. How I managed to do that, well, good thanks to the layman. But other than that, I do not know, like how I've ended up, going on commercial radio. It's a crazy feeling. I'm actually going on to commercial radio. Well, I've been on it, but obviously I'm going back on with my own show. So it's crazy. But just to think back, like obviously I've sort of gone over the story and sort of where we've got to, but we've done some cool things over the times. I mean, in the early days, some of the old earlier followers, subscribers, they'll remember when I dissed a guy called oh, do you know what? I've actually forgot his name. Irish guy he was. MC Doyler. MC Doyler. Oh wow. Yeah, I dissed a guy called MC Doyler, and I remember it very, very well, because he was sort of piping up to me online, and I sort of checked him out, and I thought this guy isn't really that good, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna send for this guy and diss him. That was the in thing at the time, MCs like dissing and sending for each other. So I sent for him. And I remember I'd uploaded it like just a day before I was due to go away on holiday. And I remember all through my holiday, that video blew up to like over 2,000 views. It was getting comments after comments after comments. And I had a lot of people on my side. And then he claimed he were going to diss me back. So he decided he was going to diss me back. And then he did diss me back. And then he weren't happy with his diss. So he thought he was Big Bad Doyler. He was better than me. So he had the rule under the sun that he could take that diss back down and he could put he could reattempt it. Whereas me, I put my diss up and I left it up. It's not the best. It's not the best MC in the world. You know, it's still up there now. You can still watch it. I won't take it down. I won't even take it down now. The only way it'll ever go down is if, you know, for whatever reason, the channel gets, you know, deleted, removed, or blocked. You know, but I've got no reason to take it down. You know, I'm not gonna hide the fact that I was a shit MC back then. Do you know what I mean? Because I was, you know. Um, but anyway, so he thought he could take his disc down and, you know, make a fresh one. So I thought I'm gonna do a disc send number 2. So I did another one, and then I don't even think he even ever replied to that. I can't even. And then I dissed for a guy called Chilean O'Toole, MC Tooley, MC O'Toole or something like that. He decided that he was going to make a little diss on me. It weren't a bad diss at all. So obviously I replied. And then I dissed another guy called, I think it was was it Geordie or not Wardy. I think it was a guy called MC Geordie, if I remember right. Jordan someone, Geordie, I think his name was. But I can't remember. It definitely wasn't Wardy, but it was a guy who had done a couple of other like disses to people. I remember he'd done AMC, and he'd spat over this like sort of like decentish beat that I quite liked at the time. It was a remix of a Nelly track, and yeah, it was you know I dissed for this guy because he, you know, thought I was getting in there a bit. And then there was a guy called Tremor THD who made like a YouTube video about me. I asked him to do it, but then we got into like a big beef war over it because I'd seen that this guy had he'd actually he'd reviewed another MC. And I thought, you know what, check my channel out, like, and I just said, you know, at the end of the day, it's a bit of a laugh. If you're gonna slate me, you know, you're gonna slate me, you know, about my MC and blah blah blah. Oh, he slated me all right. He put quite a decent little video together. You know, I'll give him that. And you know, to be fair, I would say I did in a lot of ways. I did get done in by him. That video was pretty solid. You know, probably if I watched it back now, but I think it got taken down. I would probably find fault with it now, just because, you know, I see things a lot differently now to who I was back then. But at the time, it was a pretty decent video, to be fair, and it was quite good on the banter. Some of it was just like lame ass jokes, but you know, just the way I guess he told them in the video just made it sound a bit more funnier. I know one of them he said, which to me now just isn't even funny, but at the time he was like, apparently the wallpaper in my room made it look like I live in the crack den or something like that. And God knows how he thought, like, no offences to my grandparents, but like old biddy wallpaper, it looks like something out of a crack den. I mean, alright, fair enough if like the old biddies have passed on and the house is empty and the crackheads break in and use it as a crack den, fair enough. But at the time, you know, it was a clean and tidy house to the best it could be, and there was no resemblance of a crack den going on. At the, you know, especially at my grandparents' house, like, woo, you know. So I just thought, like, what a lame joke to say, like, at the time. So anyway, I said I was gonna diss this guy back, and then I had a few things going on outside of music, so I was a bit delayed replying to the guy. And then I did reply to the guy eventually. Probably wasn't the best, I think. At the time, I just realised that I ain't dissed this guy in months. And I said I was gonna, and then I think it was just a pause of get something up quickly and, you know, get it done just to say I've replied, you know, as opposed to taking time and working on, you know, how good the reply is gonna be. But this guy called Tremor THD decided that he was going to get help and team up with a guy called Monkey in the House. Um, and I went in quite brutal on Monkey in the House, to be honest with you. He went in a little on me. And then that was really it. I think he did make a second video on me or something like that. I can't remember. I know Tremor did. He did like a second video where he did like an update on my channel, what I'd been doing since the last time. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it was crazy times really back then. Definitely not who I am now. But yeah, so we had the beef with that guy. Then there was the beef with a guy called Psychos, who just, I don't even know what happened to that guy. He like, it was his idea. He wanted to come in all big. I'm gonna dish you, blah blah blah. I diss him back, and I had a bit of a bigger following than him. And then he was like begging me to put his videos on my page and share him and boost and promote him. And I told him to do one. I think never heard of the guy since. Psychos. I think he changed his name. If I remember right, he changed his like rapping name, and then he decided he was going to MC over a donk beat, which just didn't work out, and I just don't think he ever did anything again after that. I can't fully remember. If Psychos does happen to watch this, I would be interested to know what this guy's up to now. And that's the same with Tremor THD and Monkey in the House. Are they even still YouTubing? I've never even... I don't even know if the Tremor THD is even still using the same channel name. I think I did try to look for it a while back, and I just could not find anything. Like, I think the guy had just vanished off the earth. But it wasn't a regular uploader. Like, sometimes it would be like, I don't know, 3 months between a video. Not that I was like following his channel heavily, but at the time when he'd done the videos about me, I was looking to see if he'd done any more about me. So I was checking the channel quite regular back then. And I was like, geez, this guy doesn't upload regular, does he? But I don't know, and same with Monkey in the House, I don't ever know what happened to him. I know they did like, they did a tune, it was supposed to be a diss regarding me, and there was like one little line that was like about me, and it was Monkey in the House that said it, and the rest of it was just like their own little song, and I think that's the last I ever physically remember hearing. I know Monkey in the House decided to do his own full video, like a song dissing me, which wasn't really that good. Like, it was something like MC Noble, do you want a biscuit or something like that, and I'm thinking like, you're dissing me and you're asking me if I want a biscuit, like, do you know what I mean? In mine, like, I was like, I'm gonna cut you up like a, I'm gonna cut you up like a log. I won't say the next bit, but yeah, I was like, I'm gonna cut you up like a log, shit you out in the bog. No, that's not actually what I said. I said something quite far more worse, actually. Actually, on my bad behalf, I won't say it now, because I've changed a lot. But back then, I actually said a racist word. He was a Monkey in the House, I believe he was actually coloured and tanned. So I think I maybe did go a little bit overboard back then. But it was only, just I got into the moment of things. And I've changed a lot since then. Changed my ways. I can't stand racist people now. But back then I didn't, in a little town, I'd never really mixed in the big city and never really dealt with people or what to do in like racism situations. But yeah, so we had them disses, if anyone remembers them, crazy times. Then there was all the little freestyling videos in between. There was one that I just titled MC in the Garden, where I needed an haircut, and oh my days, like, over the past sort of 7 years, well, it'd be 6 years on YouTube, be 7 years like through Facebook, because I was about Well, I was about half a year sort of late before, like, because I started MCing in the late July, early August of 2015. It was February of 2016 when I started the YouTube channel. So we're just over 6 years with the YouTube channel. So that's when the channel started, just over 6 years. But MCing, I'll have been MCing like physically 7 years. But yeah, I remember the first ever MC I put on the channel as well. It was the MC Noble Let Me Love You freestyle, and it was about myself being on a date. Didn't even show my face on the camera. Just filmed the black screen basically because I didn't dare show my face. I wasn't confident enough back then. And we just lock and loaded with this woo this yeah, and I got a lot of stick and hate for it. At the time, I thought it was quite good. I thought, you know what, my flow's improving there. I look back now, I actually listened to it not long ago, and I just thought, oh my days. Like, even my voice is so much lighter back then. Like, oh, like crazy. Mad. But yeah, we've come so far. Like, and I just thank every single person that has supported me over the way. Like literally, it's crazy thinking back. Absolute craziness, really is. Live streams I used to do on Facebook, Friday night lives. They were quite funny. They were quite enjoyable as well. Had like logos and things on the screen, intros. Used to get quite a few people locking in as well. Used to like just MC, do a bit of talking. It was enjoyable. Bit cringy looking back now. But at the time, it was getting a bit of like entertainment and laughter and some likes and comments out of it. So quite enjoyable. We've done so much. We honestly have. I know now, like, it's not like it used to be. Like, I don't push out freestyles all the time and don't do all these lives all the time where I'm MCing it, etc. Because I've gone more, taken a professional turn to things, and a lot of what I do now is like bookings and, like I say, commercial radio now. Which is kind of where I've always wanted to sort of end up, I suppose. But I know a lot of people did like the aspect of me doing all the entertainment side of things online. I probably could have become like a sensation if I had got on board with TikTok, and it's not too late to change that, but it's not who I want to be. I don't care about being TikTok famous. There's people that do TikToks, and it does help them promotional wise. But for me, I like clubs. I like the clubs. I like raving. I like commercial radio. Not dancing to little videos on TikTok. No offences to people that do them. I've got friends that do them. But for me personally, I just don't want to do them myself. It's just not something I feel interested in doing. Like some people do become TikTok sensations, and they earn off TikTok. But there you go. So anyway, it's nearly been about an hour, but what a reminisce. An hour worth of like memories and where we've come. Wow. I'm going to end this in a moment because I've got another busy day tomorrow. I've had another booking come in, but I can't say anything about it yet because there's still some things to be finalised. And I'm in talks with someone about another booking as well. Just in talks with someone today. They're thinking about putting something on, and I'm on their radar apparently. So they do want to get me involved. Like, if things go ahead, probably be like in the summertime, probably little something. They just want to, get me involved, blah blah blah. So I said, look, get me, I just said, look, let's talk. I'm in, let's talk. So we're going to be talking about this potential booking next month as well on the 9th, but there's been like no confirmation yet. So I'm thinking that it might not go ahead. Like there was nothing like definitely set in stone, but you know there was. Sorry, itchy eye. There was the possibility of it, which is all gravy. Um, Obviously, next month I've got the Clubland vibes. I'll be doing some more streams about that soon as you know we get a bit closer. Be 2 weeks this Friday. Um, Also got a pub gig a week this Friday, so just a little private booking, which I like to do. But they're quite fun to do. I enjoy them. Well, I've only done one up to now, but the first one was enjoyable. I was supposed to do one a couple of weeks back, and I kind of messed it up for myself because, well, my friend's car broke down, and I just thought, oh, we're out the game, and essentially we weren't necessarily out of the game, but we kind of were at the same time. So, but I just sort of thought his car's broke down. What else can we do? When we could have tried to do something else, blah blah blah. So, due to my own stupidity. So keep your eyes peeled for what's coming up. Like, comment, share. Peace out, people.